George, you got round four. Let's start off.
Round four. Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm not sure which way to go as strategy-wise, but I think I'm gonna go to the Atlantic, and I will be taking those New York Knicks once more.
Man, I tell you what, it's crazy that Toronto, a team that literally won the championship not that long ago, is the last team picked. And also, you guys got to realize who that means that Bray will have the Raptors.
Yep.
The Raptors didn't play in Toronto last year. So surely they're going to be better. I feel like last season they had a season from hell, and I think everything went wrong. Siakam was fighting with the coach. There was a lot of trade talk that bounced with Lowry as well at the deadline. We're going to see, man. I mean, Toronto, they always seem like they try and do things and try and be competitive, which bodes well for you, bro. But yeah, with the Knicks, you get them again, George. Okay.
Yeah.
They're back. Right, Bray. You're up, man.
Very interesting on your point of the Atlantic, actually. I had it down in my research as the strongest division on average, because they don't have any really terrible teams, I don't think. But that's where we are. I am going to go basically to the opposite end of this spectrum, to the division that is statistically the weakest. And Ed very smartly picked the best team in this division with his number one pick, because he gets pretty dire towards the bottom there. I am, of course, talking about the Southwest Division. I'm going to be picking the Memphis Grizzlies.
Good pick. Grizzlies, I also think they're going to be a high flyer this year. They've got really good depth within their bench. It seems like they've got this rotation of loads and loads of people who can form. They lose Valanciunas, which is unfortunate, but I think they did want to pay him. And look who they've got coming back, Triple J.
Yeah, very exciting. I think they're built to be a very good regular season team. And then obviously they're also young. You don't know about the playoffs, but that's not why we're here. We're here for the regular season.
Yes, indeed. All right, Ed.
So I read that there's only really one logical team that's left for me to pick. And George, when you were choosing between teams, I was shitting it that you didn't pick them. I'm assuming your pick was between the Knicks, the Grizzlies, maybe the Pelicans, and the Pacers. Because if you had picked the Pacers, I would have been left picking a team from the Southeast, which isn't Orlando, and I would have been gutted. So thank you for not picking the Pacers, because I am now going to pick up the Pacers. They haven't had the biggest turnover since last year has been the fact that they've got Rick Carlisle, and he is a disciplinarian. You are hoping that this team wins, or at least maintains the status quo and is a playoff team for last year, which is what I'm hoping once we get to the fourth round of this draft. There could be a potential that Miles Turner is traded. He's been on a trade bucket feels now for years, because him and Sabonis don't play well together. They might pick up a nice little package. I'm taking the Pacers and hoping they make the playoffs this year.
Indy, yeah. Indy's an interesting team. Another Ben Simmons trade destination. So they might end up with him. And also shout out to my boy TJ McConnell, because he doesn't love a bit of TJ. Lancashire Lambert, round 4. Talk to me.
Yeah. So the way the board's played out, I have been left with the runt of the litter in both the Northwest and the Central divisions. So I only really have one logical pick, and that is to go Southwest and to go for the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm just accepting my fate in the Northwest and Central, but I've got shocking teams.
Wow, okay.
Very interesting.
That's not the way I thought it was going to go. I'm not going to lie. And look who's up next. It's me. Excellent. Okay, cool. Yeah, Pelicans. Like, is your reasoning about like just Zion that he's gonna, have a different coach? No offense, Stan Van.
Yeah.
He's
But
past his prime.
Yeah, Zion in that division, and the fact that the Spurs have lost a lot of key pieces, and the Rockets are the Rockets. So don't want to touch them with a barge pole. So it's the Pelicans outright for me.
All right, cool. Buzz, baby. We're going to Charlotte. The roof is the ceiling. We are going to Michael Jordan. We are going to LaMelo Ball. Come on, man. The Charlotte Hornets. There's some awful teams on this board. There's some real shocking. But you're telling me that Charlotte don't improve from last year after seeing what LaMelo did. I think it's bound to happen, man. He's got the things clicking. They've got people who can score in that team, and yeah, I feel good about him. Okay, so the Hornets are off. So, God, Central is rough, man. It's really rough. So that only leaves me with, oh my God. What? So essentially, I have either the Central or the Southwest.
Yep.
Oh my God! All right.
Haven't you? You've already got the Bucks.
Yes, I do.
No,
So it would be this.
Southeast.
It would be the Northwest and the Southwest. That's what I have left. Okay, so there's no way in hell I'm picking the Northwest. That's falling to me. Whatever team. I thought, I really don't want the Timberwolves. It might happen though. I'm going to go with the logical choice, and they did better than last year. The Dynasty. Ed, as you know, they pulled it out for you guys, for your guys. I'm going in San Antonio. I'm going to go Spurs, go. So I'm going down to Texas. And down to Texas, win another ball game. Fuck Texas. Anyway, Matt, we're back with you. Your penultimate pick of this draft. Yeah, take it away.
I have 4 teams to select from, and I have 2 picks remaining. So my 4 teams remaining are the Timberwolves, the Thunder, the Cavs, and the Pistons. So littered with talent.
I mean, everyone said this about the Knicks last year. I was in the exact same predicament about the Knicks. One of these like last 6 or 7 teams, a couple of them might make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is I want to do something a little bit different. See, I had the Cavs last season, and they were an absolute misery to have. So I would like to avoid them, but that decision is kind of out of my hands because I'm going to go for the Timberwolves in the Northwest as my pick, just because they could be an unknown quantity.
Yeah, fair.
Thank you. Minnesota is a depressing place, man.
Matt, don't listen to Bray and Alex have an agenda against Minnesota. They have an agenda against Minnesota.
Have fun.
I'm a bit more
down there.
warmer.
Anything can happen. That's all I'm saying. Anything.
All right, Ellie Goulding. Chill out, man.
I didn't get the reference. I'm sorry, I don't listen to Ellie Goulding, Alex. I didn't get the reference.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it's only grime. It's only grime with Ed. When he was.
Pardon?
Say with your chest.
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I don't want to get your feelings hurt. Go on.
That's what I thought. Go on, mate. No, when Matt was saying he's going to do something different, I thought, oh, is someone going to pick the Nuggets again? They're already off the board. Yeah. All right. Anyway, how's Lasky? You've been back chatting, so the floor is yours for now. You're about to take off.
That's my pick.
Oh, Houston. Very good. Like that. Enjoyed that. A little bit.
I was in the exact same situation last year when I had to pick between the Wizards and the Magic, and I ended up picking the Magic, even though the Wizards had more wins, and I knew they were going to get more wins. Or I sort of had a feeling they would get more wins, but it didn't matter. I still got the first pick. Doesn't matter. I'll pick the Magic again.
All right, big ball of Bray with Brian in the background. How's Brian doing? Do you think he's happy with your draft? If Brian was sitting next to you right
Brian's
now,
very happy. Brian's supremely happy because I've basically managed to get the home team, which is really important. I didn't have them last year, and I kind of regret it. Also, I was way too hard on the Miami bandwagon, I think, and I'm actually off the Miami bandwagon this year. I don't think they're going to do that well. And I have also managed to avoid most of the dumpster fires in the league. Unfortunately, there's one of them that I can't avoid, and that is what has just left me in the Washington Wizards, I believe. So yeah, they're I've got 2 picks locked in, so I don't have any picks. So I'm going to go with the Washington Wizards, and I'm going to hope that Denny and Rui and Bradley are going to do really well.
Enjoy Kyle Kuzma.
Oh yeah, and Kyle Kuzma. Sure. They got wings for days, actually, come to think of it. They got wings and they got Davis Bertans. So yeah.
Well, Brian has seen some things in that bedroom, you know, since he's facing that bed. We won't speak too much about what's going on with there, but now he's having to face dealing with the Washington Wizards. And Kyle Kuzma, who potentially might be on the Shanghai Sharks with Ben Simmons next year. We'll see.
That is absolutely brutal.
It's memed everywhere. But yeah. Hopefully he gets his chance. He's not, you know, bullied and pushed around by LeBron. LA's a tough place to play. House of 03, George. These are your final 2 picks. So yeah.
Still got a choice in the Central.
Final 2, I've got final 1.
Yeah.
Final choice.
Yeah.
You have to take
and it's in
Rockets,
Central between Cavs and Pistons.
So you got Rockets, the number 2 pick in the draft, and then you're choosing between if you want the first pick or the 3rd pick in the draft now.
So for me, like, I think these were like the toughest teams for the people which had them. You saw the misery through all season long. So it depends on which
I can
one
hear the misery in your voice, George.
causes me the least
at all.
stress. So for this one, I think I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Cavaliers for my pick.
This sounds like a funeral.
I mean, it is though.
He did not want it.
These teams are, you know, I mean, you've got the best of a bad bunch here, George, but
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough out here.
honestly.
As Joakim Noah once famously said, "What's so good about Cleveland?" No? Yeah, Joakim. So, George, that means that your last pick is locked in. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
With the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Rocket can get off the ground at least, because it was awful last year. You know, the engine was spitting everywhere, and it wasn't definitely not lifting off.
Definitely failure to launch on that one.
Yeah, failure to launch. That means Bray has got the Raptors locked in. So Bray's draft is done. Anything to say on the Raptors?
I think they're going to be better back in Toronto.
All right. Ed, your last pick, please.
Sacramento Kings. Sorry, whilst you're doing that, I'm just going to do the Vegas win totals out of all our teams and see how we're doing it compared to Vegas. So,
yeah. Ed goes with, the half of the Sun Kings. So that wraps up his draft. The penultimate pick is with Lancashire Lambert.
Yeah, I am left with the Pistons. Hopefully, they don't misfire. God, that was silent.
Oh, sorry. I mean, it's just the Pistons. It's a good joke. I should have laughed. I feel bad now.
Yeah. Well,
do you know what
yeah. Go on.
Do you know what it is, Matt? It was all happy at the start of the draft because people were picking good teams. Look at the mood. Look at the people around. Nobody's happy about this bit. Every team is. We don't want to be here. We don't want to be on this day. We're having to fork out for dinner, and the food's been average. That's what it is.
Basically, to the viewers, watch the video in reverse order.
There you go. So that leaves me with. Can somebody confirm for me?
The Oklahoma City Thunder, I believe.
My second team, which is I mean, the Thunder are a really fun team. Like, I don't think they'll win a lot, but yeah, I don't know how they're going to do. Hopefully, they play Shea Gilgeous-Alexander more because they didn't really, because they were tanking and towards the end of the season, like they had quite a lot of wins, but they're definitely interested about picking draft picks. So we'll see what happens there. So that wraps up the draft. So I'll read out all of people's teams. So for me, I've got the Sixers, the Bucks, the Hornets, the Thunder, the Suns, and the Spurs. Mr. Harris, you have the Nets, the Pistons, the Hawks, the Timberwolves, the Warriors, and the Pelicans. House Lasku, reigning champ, has got the Celtics, the Pacers, the Magic, the Trailblazers, the Kings, and the Mavericks. Salt Bray, see if he's feeling a bit salty now. Very good draft for Bray. Raptors, Bulls, Wizards, Jazz, Lakers, and Grizzlies. And we wrap it up with House 3. He's back again with the Knicks, the Cavs, the Heat, the Nuggets, the Clippers, and the Rockets. How are we all feeling?
I was feeling really good after last draft, and I had the highest Vegas win total, and look how it panned out. So my feelings mean nothing right now. I've learned not to get my hopes up.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of poignant thinking going on in this room. I like my draft, but
you've quite sneakily got the 2 finalists. I don't think anyone's picked up on that yet.
Literally.
But I will say this, Matt, it was a weird season last year. And if you look at the teams that should have made the final, you've got the Lakers and the Nets.
Injuries, man.
Injuries, it killed it. And the fact that I think it was a year ago, maybe last year, was the bubble final with Heat and Lakers. They played 2 seasons in a year, which is insane, essentially. But yeah, Mr. Harris, you obviously don't have an NBA team yet.
Mm-hmm.
You really liked the Denver Nuggets. Now you don't have them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got a potential favorite that you're seeing from your list that you think, oh, okay, well, if that goes well, maybe you end up supporting them because you still yet to find a team?
So the Warriors this will be my second season having the Warriors. They're the only team that I am repeating. Although I do think that the team which probably is going to grow on me throughout the season will probably be the Atlanta Hawks. I think they'll be a team that's going to grow on me. The Nets, I don't think we even need to speak about their talents, but I think the Hawks could be one that hopefully they repeat their successes of last year and they do me good.
When I'm speaking controversy, just before we go on to Ed, we go to Mr. Bray. Bray, last question I'm going to ask: who's had the worst draft?
Who said the worst? That's quite mean, I'll be honest.
You love controversy.
I do love controversy, and I think it's close. It's between the kind of the 2-pronged attack of Jordan's Cavs and Rockets, which is just really, it's a tough combo right there. And Matt's trifecta of the Pistons, Timberwolves, and Pelicans. I don't really like any of those teams either. So, yeah, I don't know. I would say, but it's between the two of you guys.
So there is a 20 win gap between the person with the highest win total and lowest win total, 20 games difference. In 5th place, it's Jordan with 235. In 4th place, it's me with 236. In 3rd place, it's Alex with 242. In 3rd, it is Matt with 247. And then 1st is Bray with 255. But I mean, that doesn't mean anything because Bray came last year, and then me and Jordan were 1st and 2nd. So
it literally means nothing. And then
as long as I get to overtake you this year, Ed, I'll be happy.
There's a battle between us two. Yeah, forget the others, George. It's just between us two.
One thing I will say though is that mine is probably inflated because everyone likes to bet on the Lakers. So it means that they have to raise the win total to compensate. So they've probably got more wins down than they're actually going to get. which is one of
Oh,
the.
but I really like the idea behind getting Westbrook, especially for the regular season, especially for those regular season wins.
Yeah,
And with the injury concerns with AD and Beer. Sorry, go on.
Ed, are we going to talk about how he was the third choice option for the Lakers?
What do you mean? Oh.
They weren't. It was not his first choice. There's the third choice.
No, I get it,
Russ.
but I with the Buddy Hield thing, I've grown to understand why I would rather have Westbrook. If I was Lakers, I'd rather have Westbrook than Buddy Hield. What was the biggest problem last year for the Lakers? It was injury. Injury was their biggest problem. If they had, I mean, it's a big if, but if they'd had Russell Westbrook, let's say, in that scenario where they're in last year instead of Dennis Schroeder, you would think they would beat the Suns, and the Suns made it to the finals. Like, they didn't lose to a scrub team. They lost to the Suns in the first round. And I understand why they did it, because if one of those three players get injured, they still have two players to rely on. You're telling me a team with Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis isn't going to make it far in the playoffs if LeBron gets injured, let's say. But yeah, that's why I sort of like the idea. Yeah, that's just me.
I love Russ, but he's not proven in the postseason, bro.
He's made the finals. He's made the finals.
With KD, he's never made it on his own.
Was Chris Paul proven in the playoffs last year? Was Devin Booker proven in the playoffs last year?
Fair point. He's got
Was Jimmy Butler before he went to Miami?
I see what you're saying. It's a recency bias, but yeah. Okay, cool. So what we will be doing, the five of us, is slightly different. Normally we talk for every team. Each week, a person will come with a question about the division that we're discussing, and then we'll talk about it and we'll open up the floor. Real light, some light seasoning on the steak, and one person will have a game to present to them. So this could be Ed's "Where do you know me from?" Or it could be the one that Bray raged out at, the 24-second shot clock, which is hopefully we can bring that back. I mean, Bray lost his marbles already, and we're in the first episode, so yeah.
Yeah, completely.
Right.
Anyway,
that's I'm looking forward now to have teams that I know who I can follow, because I'm not sure about you guys, but like when it gets like 11 o'clock or like 12 o'clock, I'm not doing anything. I'm like, let me just whack up an NBA game and follow one of the teams and how they're doing. And it's nice to have these teams sorted.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice to be invested in a few squads now. Like, I didn't find myself wanting the Jazz to do well last year because you had them in, but now it's totally different.
Yes, indeed.
And the Kings and the Celtics are in a much better home this year.
Yeah,
welcome.
You might not be saying that in a few weeks' time.
All right, guys, we did it. Nice round of applause. Big thank you to House Lasky, House of 03, Lancashire Lamb Beer, Salt Bray, and myself, the sixth man. Maybe I'm Asian Adam Silver. There's still a debate going on. I don't know if I'm going to pick that name. We've done it, guys. So the sixth man will be back. We'll be recording each week with the most burning questions, and there's going to be some trash talk, and there's going to be scores updated. We're just going to keep it light. So stay tuned in, and we'll be back and responding to your super long comments. That we've seen on the Ben Simmons video. So yeah, from a sixth man, myself, and all the other GMs, it's over and out.
Peace, y'all.
Ciao.
Ciao.